Business travel has come a long way from the days of the traveling salesman heading down the dusty road in his car.
Car's broke down a couple miles back. Gonna miss a big meeting in Davenport.
By the late 1960s, with the introduction of wide-body jets and safer, more dependable air travel, companies were expanding their business horizons, taking the first steps toward today's global marketplace.
Hey, when I'm in Europe, I'm happy. Right now I'm flying TWA over Pittsburgh.
The role of the corporate travel manager had assumed new parameters. In 1967, a group of passenger travel associations began to lay the groundwork for what would become NBTA, the National Passenger Traffic Association. Like many associations, the National Business Travel Association was born from a deep-rooted need and sense of purpose. Threatened by increasing competition from travel agents and feeling powerless against federally regulated airline policies on fares and commissions, corporate travel managers realized that the time had come to join together on a national basis. What they sought was a strong collective voice that would give them the recognition and influence they needed to do their jobs effectively.
The NBTA was an absolute necessity for the security of the passenger travel manager. They needed a collective voice, and they also needed a focal for communication, to communicate among one another, to learn from one another.
From the beginning, NBTA members exercised their newfound voice as they tackled a number of critical issues, including the airline industry's steadfast refusal to pay corporate travel managers a commission.
During my administration, we were the first organization, only organization, that filed a brief with the CAB that there should be some form of commission levels for business travel departments.
We were very influential in rolling back some of the CAB regulations. There were airport taxes. We got rid of that. But our biggest milestone, really, was going from a neophyte organization that was unknown, and by the time I left office, we were very well known, believe me.
As they worked to change unfair regulations, NBTA members gradually defined the mission and goals that would guide the association. In 1973, for example, they voted to admit vendors as allied members. In 1974, an executive office was established in New York City. Meanwhile, political turbulence rocked the United States, and events such as the Arab oil embargo had a major impact on the travel industry. By the end of NBTA's first decade, the entire association was dramatically affected by two major forces: computerization and the 1978 deregulation of the airline industry.
There was no way to plan for this kind of a change. It was such a dramatic change, going from a tightly controlled, regulated industry to literally an open market arena.
In 1980, NBTA rallied its members and harnessed its financial resources to fight its most challenging issue yet, the issue of competitive marketing.
We lobbied, we came to buses, we fought the Goliath and the Davids won. And I think many of us who were involved in that still find it practically impossible to believe that we accomplished what we did at that period of time.
The landscape of corporate travel changed even more dramatically during the free-spending 1980s. With an influx of women business travelers, increased airport security prompted by incidents of international terrorism, and the introduction of frequent flyer programs. For the first time, business travelers used travel to generate more travel and cared about which carriers they flew. For NBTA members, the advent of automation systems brought major changes.
I think any time an organization, or I would say something, moves forward with automation, it brings more problems, it brings more things that the association has to help the members with. We now have an automation committee that does nothing but keeps track of the different systems that are coming out and how they'll impact the corporate travel departments.
Black Monday, the stock market crash of 1987, dealt a mighty blow to business travel. By the end of the 80s, the leaders and members of the association had brought NBTA's scope, mission, and legislative influence to a new peak. An executive director was hired. The association moved to a new location in the nation's capital and acquired a new name, the National Business Travel Association.
The focus of the association had really moved from New York, where most of our suppliers at that time were located, to more of a legislative area. And we had been trying to get a presence in Washington and to have more visibility and more influence on legislation that would be affecting our membership.
In the 1990s, NBTA has emerged as an authoritative voice and action arm of corporate travel management, with a strong presence, a network of local chapters, and a global scope. With a staff of 8 in its Alexandria, Virginia headquarters, NBTA serves travel managers from the largest corporations in America and the world, as well as allied suppliers. As we face the 21st century, the role of the corporate travel manager takes on unprecedented and exciting challenges. NBTA's new Certified Corporate Travel Executive program with Cornell University and its many other membership services position members to meet those challenges and enhance their professionalism and value to their companies.
NBTA will continue to be the voice of corporate travel management. We will continue our emphasis on Washington issues, a strong emphasis on education to our members, assisting our members in focusing their attentions and their skills so that they can be better managers for their corporate assets, and better yet, so they have a better image as corporate travel managers.
Today, the energy and spirit that galvanized NBTA's founding members serves as a guiding force to more than 1,400 members and 39 chapters nationwide. Together, we salute NBTA's many accomplishments as we proudly reflect on its silver past and look forward to a global future.